A new lawsuit that Crypto.com is involved in, put together with this news going on between the president and Elon and the conversation around Fed rate cuts, leaving us in a very precarious situation regarding the price action for not just the CRO token, but the crypto market. Now, we saw a dip yesterday for Bitcoin down to $100,000, had a bounce up to 105, and we are holding around these price levels right now, maybe finding a rejection. I do have a trade open right now on Bitcoin, but I want to talk to you guys about a few of these stories. The president calling for Fed rate cuts. We've got this lawsuit between Crypto.com and Nevada, a Cronos price prediction, which might be a little too bearish that I need to discuss, and of course, the actual odds of what the Fed rate cut could be today and moving forward in the future. And then what does it mean for the price action? Welcome back to the Crypto Report, everybody. I am Crypto Kip. Do me a favor, tap the like button if you enjoy this content. Subscribe to this channel for more crypto content. And let's talk a little bit about Crypto.com's CRO. Now, right now, Bitcoin's at $104,000, currently up 1.8% on the day, after dipping down to 100,000 overnight because of the spat between the president and between Elon. In addition to that, we did also have kind of some lackluster news in the conversation between the president and the president of China. And I think that putting those together caused a little bit of a sell-off, but there is some key support for Bitcoin at $100,000. Now, what is Crocoin doing today? Well, it actually has climbed in its rank recently because of some of the excitement around these ETFs that are getting put out there for Cronos, but it is back down below 10 cents, currently down 2.3% today. Not too bad. When you compare it to some of the other coins out there, it's a little less volatile, both to the downside and to the upside. However, it has climbed in the rank over the last month or so because of some of the positive news around those ETFs. And though this news, Crypto.com sues Nevada Gaming over its block on sports events contracts, sounds bad, it's actually quite a good thing. What Crypto.com is doing is they are taking advantage of the fact that they are a fully regulated exchange. Now, what they've done is they've offered options and they've offered sports events contracts as well, because they have legally acquired companies that are CFTC regulated, approved, and after have gotten challenged by the CFTC in the past. They have been challenged by the CFTC on their Super Bowl contracts in the past, but what came out of this? Nothing. It was all good, no problems. Crypto.com actually has reported to Cointelegraph saying, "We firmly believe in the legality of our events contracts and believe the CFTC is the appropriate regulator to bring federally regulated market integrity, manipulation controls, and product availability in all 50 states." So what's going on here is Nevada, which is actually where Las Vegas is, where the Bitcoin conference for 2025 just was actually giving some flack to Crypto.com and threatening legal action on their pointing to their gaming laws, just challenging the ability for Crypto.com to be able to offer these sports events contracts. And Crypto.com is simply saying, no, we are in conjunction with the CFTC. This is federal. You are on the state level, but federally, we're good to do it. You can't tell us that we can't offer these. So in the end, what Crypto.com is doing is they're pointing to previous cases, and you can see they're pointing to federal laws. They are looking at cited two recent federal injunctions involving Predictions Marketplace and Kelshi X, where courts ruled that the state gaming authorities in Nevada and New Jersey could not regulate federally approved event contracts. So it looks like they're probably going to come out on top on this one, and they are taking the Nevada gaming, Nevada into court on this, and probably going to come out on top and, be better off for it. Now, I'm going to get to a couple of these other stories. The other thing going on right now is the president is calling for Fed rate cuts. Okay, so this one is a little bit more negative. Now, the president calling for Fed rate cuts sounds good right? But what is the chance that we're actually going to get a rate cut? Well, when you look at the odds, it's a 99% chance that we're not going to get a rate cut. That hasn't changed, but what has changed is now we're actually seeing even the option for a rate hike jump into the table for some reason here in June. Now, there's not going to be a rate hike in June, but if you look into July, there is now an 83% chance, which is an increase, that we're not going to get a rate cut in July. And in September, even a 37%, which is about 10% jump just over the last week in the odds that in September, we're not going to get a rate cut. And if you go to October or December, there are odds and chances that we aren't going to get a rate cut, or at least less rate cuts than we thought we were going to get this year. Why am I talking about rate cuts? What is such a big deal about this? Why is the president talking about them? And why is it relevant for crypto? Very simply put, and I've said it very many times on this channel, if you want the risk on assets like crypto overall, Bitcoin, and CRO to rally, you need the Fed to, historically at least, we've seen when the Fed cuts rates, we get a rally for risk on assets like Bitcoin, and altcoin season can begin. Cronos, CRO is an altcoin. You want the Fed rate cut to get that altcoin season. The president wants the rate cuts, but the Fed is not ready to do it because of several reasons. Tariff concerns over inflation being one of them, and some of the other data that has come out as of late suggesting that maybe inflation is a little bit more problematic. Now, I want to share with you guys one of the trades that I'm in because I have been trading a lot lately. Right now, I am in a Bitcoin short. Why? Well, yesterday, actually, I was in a short for Dogecoin and XRP, profited on those. Opened up a actual short today after missing the long opportunity. I was talking about a bounce for Bitcoin of $100,000. Look at this, guys. It came down to $100,300, which is a beautiful prediction for that bounce. Unfortunately, I missed the trade. You know what I should have had is a limit order placed to actually open up along there. I missed that opportunity. So what I did is I waited for this thing to pump back up, hit what I saw was previously support and now resistance at about high $104,000 level. And I opened up a little bit of a short with a stop loss set right before my live stream earlier today. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lower my stop loss even more. What I'm doing is I'm lowering it down. So now the worst that can happen on this trade is $112 in the red. What I could do is actually set it so that it's a break-even trade, but I'm slowly lowering this down as this trade gets more in the profit. Right now, it's $131 in the profit. Currently, a 10x short on Bitcoin. Now, I'm not bearish on crypto. I am not bearish on Coin, but I am trading the volatility. If you want to trade the volatility in these crypto markets, you can sign up for Blowfin using the link in the description down below. And what this tells you guys and why I share with you this short position that I'm currently in is because this is something that I believe is true for Coin as well. There's a chance that in the interim, we are dipping a little bit lower because of the rift between the president and Elon, which is actually a little bit bearish in markets and crypto right now for some reason, but also because of the issue that we're having with the opportunity of getting a rate cut. The odds are going down of a potential rate cut. We need the rate cut for the risk on asset rally. Bitcoin touched down to 100K. There are suggestions that possibly we could see Bitcoin go down to 92. If that's the case, you could easily see Coin, unfortunately, lose this momentum and come back down to retest on some wicks down to 7 cents. It's possible. I'm not telling you it's going to happen. If that does happen, I think it's a buying opportunity, and that's what I'm looking out for. Now, in terms of predictions for CRO, we like to talk about these from time to time. Well, looking at what we see on this article coming out from this CCN publication, they're talking about 2025, 2026, and 2030 predictions. Their maximum prediction for CRO in 2025 is 26 cents. We've already almost achieved that. They're basically saying CRO's not even going to take a new high. I don't necessarily see that as being a shoo-in, given the rate cut conversation. It's possible, which then would lead to the conversation, okay, are we going to have an extended cycle where maybe this was delayed and we're going to pump later, maybe even to 2026 after we get through the tariff thing? Possibly. But I really don't agree with the idea that we're going to have to wait till 2030 to see $1 Coin. If that's the case, what this is saying to me is that altcoin season is essentially canceled. CRO topped out at 26 cents, which is a very, very weak performance for CRO. It got to 23 cents. Okay, so it didn't even get to 26 cents. So they're saying, okay, it's going to go back up. It's going to get to 26 cents and it's going to crash. I personally don't agree with this. I think that Coin at least can achieve what its previous high was, right at about $1, just under $1 maybe, but I think it could go higher. I would argue this asset class has never been more strong on a macro level. The news surrounding crypto is quite bullish despite the rate cuts. Look at the look at the actual adoption happening for this asset class in the way of ETFs for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and for the Cronos token having an ETF as well. This is the first bull market ever that Cronos chain has actually been alive. Crypto.com is continuing to grow, battling in court because they are a regulatory giant, really. They have been probably the most regulatory compliant exchange in the history of the world. And they are the largest exchange in North America right now, and I think they're going to continue to grow. I think the Coin token is going to have a very successful moment in the future, possibly still in 2025. I think that this is going to be probably the year that we do see the big pump still, but what we do need to see is something change with tariffs and the rate cuts, because if these rate cuts don't come, we might have to wait a little bit longer for those bigger prices. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I said here is financial advice, guys. But continue to do your research and let me know what your thoughts are on this analysis in the comments down below. I'm going to keep you guys posted on the trades that I'm making, and Black Sea is going to do the same as well. If you want to do some trading for yourself, whether it's on Bitcoin, Coin, Ethereum, or some of your other favorite meme coins out there, you can sign up for Blowfin if you want to do some trading using the link down below, up to a $5,000 deposit bonus when you do sign up. It's in the comments section and in the description. If you click the link, you can check it out there. That's all I have in this one, guys. Smash the like, subscribe, DCA HODL. 2 videos here if you want to check them out. I'll see you in the next one, folks. Peace.